Yo, 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 what's going on Xbox and YouTube? Now, this is something that has been bothering me for quite a long time, but we're gonna jump straight into the topic here. I really don't get, and I fucking hate companies that constantly push out brand new updates or brand new software that sounds all good and dandy when you read the fucking label, but when they update the freaking software, everything goes to shit. So what I'm talking about today is Game Capture HD, some XSplit problems, some shadow play problems, and how fed up I am with almost all of it. Okay, so we're gonna start with shadow play, the one thing that I have been using the most lately, and this was the first thing that got me thinking about this. Well, when using Shadowplay, I have a GTX 770 4GB super clocked graphics card, 8GB of RAM. I have an i5 at 3.8 gigahertz. And no matter what I do, I cannot get the recordings to come out smoothly at 60 frames nor 30 frames. The videos lie constantly. Like here, I'll show you guys some preview shots. So the videos lie constantly. And so a video that says it's 30 frames is constantly stuttering, and when I look it up on Google, almost everybody and their uncle is having fucking problems with stuttering in shadow play. So there is one thing in which Nvidia actually sells with their cards. So they actually use the idea of being able to record games with shadow play. They actually use that as a selling point. Now, wouldn't it be good to actually have a selling point on something in which actually worked? Because every time I've ever used Shadowplay, now mind you guys, my graphics card when I got it was about $450. So when I use Shadowplay, I expect to be able to record 1080p, 60 frames at let's just say at least medium settings within the game without a problem. I've tried Shadowplay recordings, I've tried Shadowplay live streaming, and even when my game is running just fine, Shadowplay is basically playing like a slideshow to my live stream without me even being aware of it. So there is one thing that doesn't work as advertised. Shadowplay does not ever work as advertised, and even when you have the recommended specs on your computer, or you're well above the recommended specs on your computer, the problem still persists. So to me, in my head, that means it's not a fucking power, or it's not the amount of fucking shit you have in your computer problem, it's a optimization problem, which seems to be the problem with most stuff nowadays, including games, software, you name it. Everything has almost been pushed out the door as fast as it possibly can. And to be honest with you, I feel very bad for people that have to develop for somebody like that. Now on to my next little thing here. So I use Game Capture HD to do most of my recordings, and that's exactly what you guys are listening to me on right now, and that's exactly what you're seeing on my dashboard is my Elgato capture card, and I'm recording it through Game Capture HD 3.00. Well, Game Capture HD just came out with an update just a few hours ago, which is supposed to have all kinds of brand new fixes and all of these great things. And when you read through the fucking list, it sounds beautiful, right? But that's anything but what it really is. After installing the brand new 3.2 Elgato Game Capture HD software, I could no longer boot my Elgato HD60 up. It would just sit there saying initializing constantly. And then when I did reboot my computer and tried it again, it gave me a blue screen of death. So there's another great thing. And then when I rebooted again and tried it, all of my commentary audio sounded just like this. So guys, Elgato decided to change all of their stuff, and now I am having to relearn how to do everything because of these fucking stupid. So that is completely unacceptable. I shouldn't have to, when I get an upgrade on anything, I consider it to be an upgrade, not a downgrade. So if you're going to fix a bunch of other problems, make sure you don't create some other ones in the process. And that is the thing that is really bothering me. So I get a brand new update in Game Capture HD, and instead of it improving my experience, it has now created another hour and a half of headaches in which I have to figure out why my audio isn't coming through clearly on my $500 mic setup. So I spend all night trying to figure that out, and it turns out it's this brand new thing that Game Capture HD has started up called Sound Capture HD. Now, it sounds great when you think about it, but when they put it into Game Capture HD, there's something going wrong with the mic. And the bottom line to me is, I don't feel like anybody beta tests anything. I feel like they just make these updates and they just push them out without really testing anything that they did. And if they say that they really did test it, well, you guys must not have tested it very much, because it took me all of 30 seconds to discover the flaw. And if you guys couldn't discover that flaw, well, maybe you guys should get some more fucking computers, and maybe you should have a different lineup of computers, or maybe you could just do your job for a change instead of just telling us that you're doing your job. So instead of pushing out half-assed products all the time, we could actually get something that's finished and polished, unlike anything that has been released at all, ever. So there is the big problem with Game Capture HD. My mic audio does not want to work correctly. My HD60 doesn't want to initialize correctly. The program has already given my computer one blue screen of death. Thankfully, it recovered from, because if it didn't, I would be completely pissed off right now. But the bottom line is, guys, I basically went to go and make a Halo 5 video, saw the update, and an hour and a half later, I'm now able to get back to what I was doing thanks to what Elgato Game Capture HD calls an update. And now on to the way that Xsplit works, which is just wonderful. Now, when recording, mind you guys, I pay $14, I think, every 3 months to use Xsplit, so that way they keep updating it. But whenever I go to live stream, and this is why I really don't live stream anymore, I go to live stream using Xsplit. And I've already told you guys my experience with trying to live stream my PC using Shadowplay. Well, trying to live stream my Xbox using XSplit is almost just as impossible to get a smooth frame rate or to get a smooth picture quality without pixelation or without stuttering or juddering or jittering. And I don't get why. I've tried every setting in the fucking book. I've went through countless forums. And when I look at my preview window of XSplit when I'm live streaming, my preview window looks just fine. So that means my stream looks like it's doing just fine on my end. But then when I go in and I watch the actual past broadcast of my live stream, and mind you guys, this only really affects Twitch.tv. It's not so much apparent on YouTube gaming, but on Twitch.tv, XSplit is absolutely god awful. It judders, it jitters, it stutters, it's anything but a smooth gameplay. So I don't live stream anymore, mainly because of that reason. And that same problem started, and you guessed it, after an XSplit update. So updates don't really seem to do much for you other than basically ruin what you already spent months trying to figure out. So my advice to these companies would be to actually beta test your updates, actually try them on a wide range of hardware before you decide that, hey, it's okay, we're gonna go ahead and screw up everybody's fucking day. So yes, like I said, now instead of making my Halo video and having a good time, I am once again stuck with troubleshooting. Now I find I shouldn't really have to troubleshoot too much, considering I spent $2,500 to $3,000 on my fucking computer, so I wouldn't have these problems. But guess what, guys? If you spend that amount of money, you are just a high-class sucker. So with that being said, guys, if I've opened your perspective on the way products are pushed out the door in a shitty fashion and it's becoming the most widespread thing throughout the internet, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. And if you guys are having problems with your brand new Game Capture HD, please let me know so that way we can throw it in their face. But with that being said, guys, I will see you on the next one. Peace. Fucking stupid.